Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing things a little bit differently. I am joining Emma Bennett and doing the author tag so that you can get to know me a little bit better. And if you're new to this channel, hello, my name is Natalie. I'm an author and a growth marketer who help writers promote their work in a smarter way and accelerate their author careers. I have written the book Library of Eternity and a lot of other books. So the first question in the author tag is, where is your favorite place to write? And the thing is, I usually write back home here in the living room, surrounded by books. I usually write in the mornings before doing anything else. So I'm not sure if that is my favorite place to write, though. That is just where I write. I would say that my favorite place to write is probably, in a cafe, when I'm abroad, when I'm traveling, or a library. Oh my God. When I went to New York, I took some time out of like the busy schedule with doing all these sightseeing and stuff. And I went to this beautiful library and just sat there and wrote for hours. And then I reconnected with my family and hung out with them. But places like that, that's where I love to write. Those are my favorite places because I just get so inspired and focused by being around books and being around other people that are like enjoying books and the written word. So that is probably my favorite place to write. Question number 2 is coffee or tea? And I am a coffee drinker. I usually have my coffee black because I do intermittent fasting, so I don't eat breakfast, which means that I don't want any milk or soy milk or anything in my coffee. I just have it black usually in the morning. But in the afternoons or evenings, I do prefer tea because I try not to drink coffee after 2 p.m. so that I get as much out of my sleep as possible and so that I don't mess up my sleep schedule. And yes, I am very interested in health and longevity and stuff like that. And this is why I've experimented, tried different things, and this is what works best for me. Let me know in the comments if you prefer tea or coffee, or if you think that the way you have your tea or coffee says something about you as a person. I know that a lot of people think this, so I would love to hear your opinion on this. Question number 3 is favorite book of all time. And this is one of the hardest questions there is for me because I try to read somewhere between 50 and 100 books each and every single year, which means that there are so many books in my head, so many stories, so much information that I can't just pick one. So one of the best books I read in 2025 was Death to the Author. This is a sci-fi book that is just, yeah, I think it's just mind-blowing and brilliant. I don't want to talk too much about the plot because I think it's better if you go in when you read this and not have that many expectations, because I didn't, and it blew my mind. Oh my God, this is such a talented author. Also, this is such a pretty edition. Look at on the inside here. It has another title, and yeah, it's just brilliant. But apart from that, like, I don't just read fiction books. I read a lot of non-fiction books as well. So one of my favorite non-fiction books is, of course, Atomic Habits by James Clear. This is a book I've talked a lot about here and that I will keep on recommending because it made such a big difference for my writing career, for my life in general. So I really do think that tiny changes gives you remarkable results. So if you haven't read this one, read it now. Question number 4 is NaNoWriMo, yes or no? And NaNoWriMo doesn't exist anymore, but I love the concept of, trying to write a first draft in 30 days. I think it's brilliant because that forces you to get out of your comfort zone. But when you're doing it, you're also surrounded by other writers who are trying to do the same thing. So you're not alone, you have a community of people doing it. And I wrote the first draft of The Forbidden Circle way back 10 years ago. at NaNoWriMo when I was studying creative writing at university, and that was like the starting point of my real author career, because in doing that, I proved to myself that I could finish a first draft. That was a huge milestone for me mentally. Despite that book, I had to delete that book and rewrite it because it wasn't good enough. But I learned so much from doing it. I learned so much about my own writing. I learned so much about story structure. I learned so much about finding the joy in writer's flow. So I love NaNoWriMo in that way, but also because it brings us writer together and makes sure that we actually don't just talk about writing, but actually do it. So yeah, that's my NaNoWriMo story. Do you guys, have you guys joined NaNoWriMo at any time? Question number 5 is which genre I would like to write in if I had no restrictions. And this is such a, amazing question. I think I would love to write like a thriller, either a thriller or a horror without any restrictions. And the restrictions like I'm thinking about here are genre restrictions and genre expectations. Since I haven't read that much horror yet. I do read suspense and thrillers every now and then, but I don't consume it the way I consume fantasy, romantic books, feel good and stuff like that, women's fiction. So I would say that those genres are the ones that I would love to try out, and not have that, big expectations. If the story doesn't hold up, that's fine. So maybe I will try and do that one day. I do have an idea for a horror sci-fi story. So who knows? Question number 6 is if you had any superpower, what would it be? And oh my God, this is a really hard question for me. When I was younger, I always dreamt of flying. I thought that flying would be such an amazing feeling. But today, I don't know. Maybe it would be. Oh, this is really hard. I literally don't know. Would love to be able to do magic, like elemental magic of some sort, maybe fire magic or spirit magic or whatever, water magic. But that is not really a superpower, is it? So, what should I choose? What should I choose? Maybe teleportation. I think that would come really in handy for me because I love traveling. I love visiting new places, experience things, getting new experiences. So that would come really in handy. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that one. Question number 7 is my favorite author, and here, I don't know. There are so many great authors out there that I look up to, and in every single genre, like I can find an author that I look up to. So I can't just choose one, but I'm gonna have to try and think of any one that I really look up to. Okay, I couldn't come up with a favorite author because there are so many great ones. But last year I read this book, Promise to Pyre by Wendy Emberfield, and it just blew my mind. Wendy is such a talented author. She is, she just writes great romantasy. So I would probably choose Wendy. She is really someone I look up to and am inspired by. And check out her book. I will leave a link in the below this video so that you can grab a copy yourself. Question number 8 is what kind of music do you listen to when you write? And I don't know if I should be honest when I tell you guys this, but I'm really boring. So when I write, I prefer to listen to, if I listen to anything, I either listen to white noise, classic music without singing, or if it's singing, it should be in like Italian or Latin or something that I don't understand. Or I listen to like the Hogwarts Legacy theme music and have one of those videos from the game on in the background, like ambient vibe music. So that's it. I never listen to specific music with lyrics and stuff like that, because if I do, my brain will start like dancing or singing along, and I will lose the focus of my own writing. So I usually sit down completely, like when it's completely quiet, and just write. Or if I'm at a cafe, like I just like the noise of the surroundings. Question number 9 is, if you could live anywhere, where would it be? I love where I live right now. I love living in Stockholm, Sweden. It's really nice, but I have been living in Amsterdam a few summers, and I really, really love it there as well. It's just such a beautiful city, with, I don't know, just like the vibe there. So that is one place where I can see myself living for sure. It's also a bit warmer than here in Sweden, and everything is closer. Like that is one thing that, yeah, is a bit boring about Stockholm, because you always have to take the subway. Like it's very far between places. So that is something I loved about Amsterdam. But otherwise, like I could see myself living on the countryside as well, in a big house with a big garden. Or I could see myself living in France, in Paris. So there is not one place where I dream of living, but multiple. I have the soul of a vagabond, and we will see where I live in future. Question number 10 is, what do I do when I get writer's block? And the truth is, I rarely get writer's block. I've been writing for more than 1,000 days in a row now, each and every single day. And I don't get writer's block because I always, first of all, I always have multiple manuscripts going. But more than that, I've been writing for so long. I've been creating the habit of writing and been doing it for so long that it comes naturally to me. I see it a little bit like a job, and I will do my job whether or not I feel like it. The same with my day job with marketing. So I just sit down and write. And yeah, some days it goes really, really slow. But when I look back at those days and look back at those sentences, those are some of the sentences that turned out the best because I really, really thought them through. So I don't give myself a hard time if it's going a bit slower, but I just keep on going forward. And like writing is so much, like there are so many stages of writing that I don't get tired. You know, I have a routine when I write my first draft. I have a routine when I do my editing. I have a routine when I get the book back from the editor. So yeah, I think that I've come to the stage where I don't get writer's block. And if I would, against all odds, get some sort of blockage, I would probably move on to the next chapter or next scene, or I will go out for a run and not have any music in my ears, not bring my phone, just, be in the present and try to figure out what is wrong with that scene, or what is going to happen. So yeah, those are my thoughts on writer's block. I don't know if you guys get writer's block, but thank you so much for getting to know me a little bit better. It was so much fun doing this author tag. Thank you, Emma, for the initiative. And I hope that other writers or readers do the author tag out there so I can get to know you guys better. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.